You're watching First Alert 7 News at 9 on the CW and live on YouTube with Lauren Munt and weather with Tom Tiefertiller.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for First Alert 7 News on the CW, and thanks to those of you joining us live on our YouTube. I'm Lauren Munt and we start tonight with a developing story. According to the Midland County Department of Emergency Management, crews were on scene of an industrial accident in the 1900 block of West County Road 137. That's in western Midland County. Now, this was an ongoing situation, but what we know at this time is that a male was doing metal work on top of a vacuum trailer, which was not properly ventilated, and it caused an explosion that resulted in his death. No other injuries were reported, and Midland County Sheriff, as well as Midland County Emergency Management, will be investigating the incident. We'll bring you further as we learn more. Tracking crime now, this man, it's 51-year-old Rodney Lopez. He was arrested and charged with 2 counts of manufactured delivery of a controlled substance. Narcotics investigators and SWAT executed a search warrant on West County Road 117. That's when they found what they suspect to be fentanyl, methamphetamine, cocaine, and 2 handguns. MCSO says that they're still investigating and that more charges are pending. And the Midland County Commissioners voted in favor of an increase in property taxes today. The new tax rate increases from 0.1 to 0, or 20, which to 0.131 per $100 valuation. Sorry about that. You can see the exact numbers on your screen now, and that vote was 3-2. That was in favor of raising the tax rate. The commissioners that voted against the increase said the county should make more budget cuts to avoid raising taxes. That goes into account for the 2025 fiscal year. You can find that story up on our website, firstalert7.com. We're going to take a pause now and talk your weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Tom Tiefertiller. Tom, I've not really been outside at all today. I've been stuck in here in the studio. So what's it looking like out there?
Well, you haven't missed much, okay? I'll say that. It was a quiet day. We saw a few clouds, shower down in the mountain areas, but overall it was just hot. And as we take a look at the satellite and radar view this evening, a few leftover clouds across the mountain area is really about it. So some of those may drift across the skies of the Permian Basin into the overnight hours. As temperatures today, usually we're about 87 degrees. We were about 10 degrees hotter than that with 96 out at the Miller National Air and Spaceport, but even hotter Odessa and Midland into the upper 90s. And look at all the triple digits, western Permian Basin out towards Pecos and Presidio, and we were up to 107 earlier at Rio Grande Village. Now, temperatures have cooled off some, but still hanging on to those triple digits down there in the lower elevations of Big Bend National Park, as we're seeing humidity levels start to come back up a little bit across the area. So that's going to hold temperatures up overnight tonight. Only the lower 70s on the way to wake up to, with a few clouds and some humid conditions first thing in the morning, but that's going to come into play this weekend as we'll see some isolated to widely scattered showers and thunderstorms back with us with a cool front. More on that and more on a little of a cool down here in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Tom. Today, a conference titled Immigration is Big Business for the Workforce took place today at Odessa College. Now, the conference opened with a clear message that this was not a political event, but a discussion on the vital role of immigration in business and economic development, particularly in Texas and right here in the Permian Basin. In Texas, immigrants make up to 17% of the total population, and nationally, they play a key role in critical industries, comprising of 19% of healthcare workers, 40% of construction workers, and 20% of energy workers. And in the Permian Basin, 13% of the population, roughly 21,500 people, are immigrants, and they account for 18% of this region's workforce.
Immigrants are punching well above their weight, and that's an important stat for people to think about, especially as we have an aging workforce in the state of Texas and the United States in general, and as our birth rate is only around 1.66 right now. So we're not even replacing ourselves. So to continue to have this really beautiful economy that's growing and thriving, we need to make sure we're attracting talent from across the skills spectrum.
According to the Permian Group, an estimated 191,000 people will be needed to fulfill the new jobs that are expected in the Permian Basin in 2050. In order to address that demand, the groundwork for establishing an immigrant resource center in the region was discussed. Now, the resource center would help immigrants pursue U.S. citizenship or obtain a visa, better preparing them for the workforce.
We're not out recruiting. We're not going to the border or anything. What it is working with some community partners. We're trying to identify the people that are already here and help provide a way for them to get documented and work legally in this area.
By providing legal avenues for employment, it could also have a positive impact on reducing crime rates in the community. Now, good news for travelers, because as of 5 o'clock today, both TSA lines at Midland International Air and Spaceport are open. You'll remember last week and yesterday, MAF's TSA was experiencing equipment outages. And with a record number of passengers that were flying out of the airport, those outages were causing extremely long lines. Travelers arriving hours before their flight waited in the TSA line for an average of 45 minutes, with some of them waiting nearly 2 hours just to get through security.
I was kind of shocked to see that it's down again. I come here regularly on business. I was here last Thursday and it was a huge issue. The line was already out to baggage claim just for the TSA.
Now, the good news is MAF is working on some upgrades that'll help the traveler experience. Among those upgrades is a new security checkpoint that will start with 3 lanes, including a dedicated pre-check lane.
Be a much smoother operation for passengers. They'll be able to come right into the south end, go through the whole process. When they finish going through the checkpoint process, they'll go upstairs to the concourse level and come out between gate 4 and 5.
Now, the total cost of these upgrades is $38 million, and the airport is looking to have grants that will cover it, but it will likely not be completed until 2026. Donald Trump will be flying into the Tall City soon. The former president is hosting a private lunch in Midland next month. Now, according to our partners at the Odessa American, prices to attend, they start at $25,000, and then they'll go up to $924,600. If that's not enough for you and you'd like a photo with the former president, don't worry, photo ops only cost $50,000. And as the Permian Basin continues to grow, there's a greater need for trade job skills. SkillPoint Alliance assists students with learning these skills and joining the workforce afterwards. SkillPoint Alliance partners with colleges like Odessa and Midland College to train students as HVAC technicians and electrical apprentices. Each course takes 4 to 5 weeks to complete, and students are fully licensed by the end. All of these programs are completely free to students, and they require no prior experience. SkillPoint also helps their students find jobs after the completion of their course.
So our program is a rapid employment model. That's why our courses are short. We invite employer partners in the community that are interested in hiring entry-level employees. So we assist the students in having that resume ready, having those interview skills ready.
In 2023, SkillPoint taught 110 students, and in 2024, they're expected to teach 150. They're currently accepting applications for their 2025 programs. To learn more about SkillPoint and where you can apply, you can visit this story up on our website. Again, that's firstalert7.com. Are you looking for engaging ideas to help prepare your child for school that promote fun, learning, and growth? Well, MISD has created classes that are specifically designed for parents that are focusing on the development of essential skills for their child's educational journey. The Early Childhood Education team hopes that parents' pre-K classes will inspire more parents to enroll in their child in pre-K. Monday, September 23rd will be the first day of class for parents. These classes take place from 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. for 8 weeks. They'll be once a month from September to May.
Throughout the year, there's going to be 8 total classes that parents can choose to come to, and each class will be focused on a variety of concepts and activities for parents to do at home with their children to reinforce foundational skills in reading, math, writing, and language development.
For information on how to RSVP for the parent class, you can visit our website. Again, that's firstalert7.com. Some more education news for you. 3 West Texas students are now certified nursing assistants, and they're working at Medical Center Hospital in Odessa. 2 ECISD and 1 Monahans Wickett Peyote student are from the 2024 graduating class, and they were celebrated as they signed on to be a part of the MCH team. One student, who's now a phlebotomist, started working towards her nursing assistant certification as a freshman in high school.
Knowing what I've always wanted to do at a very young age has set me into this path of knowing that I'm working towards my goals.
And that diploma that they receive actually gets them in the door, because our main requirement is that they have graduated from high school and have achieved their certification in the areas in which we're employing them for.
Before they signed with MCH, the hospital brought the students in to look at their facilities and meet with their staff. And last week, ECISD traveled to San Antonio for the Mexican American School Board Association annual conference. For the third year in a row, they left with an award. The Mexican American School Board gave ECISD the award for Outstanding Workforce Development and Outstanding Special Education. And a junior at Permian High School won first place in the conference's student artwork exhibit for her work. The Outstanding Workforce Development Initiative highlights ECISD's work connecting ECISD students with local industry needs. And the Outstanding Special Education Initiative acknowledges the approach that ECISD took to hire virtual workers across the district. And the Texas-sized garage sale is just around the corner, so First Alert 7 got a sneak peek to show you what the warehouse looks like as volunteers for Senior Life Midland prepare for the big shopping weekend.
We have a 25,000 square foot cinder block warehouse that our dedicated volunteers work year round. They collect the items, they clean the items, they price them, and they put them in our 27 different departments.
If you've got time to volunteer, Senior Life Midland needs about 500 volunteers to help out on shopping days. Now, if you want to go shopping, the early bird sale on October 11th costs $5 to enter. But every other day is free to get in and shop, and the money raised funds 1/3 of the Meals on Wheels meals that they cater each year. Let's talk some local sports now, because the Odessa Broncos are playing right now. The Broncos are coming off of a tough loss to El Paso Eastwood last week as they fell 56-49. Now Odessa shifts their focus to a Monterey team that they're familiar with. Over the past 3 meetings, the Plains have been held a 2-1 record against Big Red, but Broncos' new head coach Eric Hartman has taken some notice with the play style of Monterey, and he seems pretty confident heading into tonight.
Monterey, they're a good team. They've played some tough games also. They won, or they lost to Abilene Wiley, who's a good team, by 1. And so, we know they have some problems that they're going to give us, and I know that we have some problems they're going to give them also.
Taking it over to the Tall City, the Legacy Rebels. They'll be on the road tomorrow when they face their former district rival, the Abilene Eagles. Both teams are coming off of losses last week, and head coach Clint Hartman knows the challenge of containing quarterback Braden Henry, and he understands that it'll be a total team effort once it's game time.
There's not very many people going to run him down. I mean, in the state of Texas, okay? So you got to keep him contained. You got to keep a spy on him. You got to blitz him and take your chances. To me, we got to mix it up. And good players like that, they're going to get theirs. It just eventually happens. We knew they were on the schedule. They're going to give us their best shot. They're perennial power in 5A. They're a West Texas rivalry.
Kickoff tomorrow will be at 7 o'clock, and Coach Hartman also said that Legacy might be playing with backup quarterback J.P. Reyes, who'll possibly get the start under center, with Jaden Rogers being day-to-day from an injury last Friday. Coming up, some farmers on the South Plains of Texas are now utilizing a new climate-smart strategy for their crops. We've got your environmental news up next. And the 4th annual First Alert 7 Peanut Butter Drive for the West Texas Food Bank is next Thursday. You can drop off peanut butter to the First Alert 7 studios in Music City Mall or at either of the West Texas Food Bank locations in Midland or Odessa. Let's talk some environmental news. Some farmers on the South Plains of Texas are now utilizing a new climate-smart strategy for their crops. Dylan Villa with our sister station in Lubbock reports on how they could help producers in the long run.
At the end of the day, if we want to see continued agriculture across the High Plains, we have to be focused on conserving what water and soil resources we have left.
Katie Lewis is with the Texas A&M AgriLife Research Extension in Lubbock. We saw some of its work in progress at Climate Smart Cotton Field Day in Plainview. New ways to capitalize on our area's strengths and overcome its challenges.
Dust storms, water limitations make it really challenging and make us more dependent on practices that are going to result in keeping our soil in place.
Strategies that look to help include crop rotation, new cover crops, and ways to cut down on tilling. Putting these in place, however, is not so easy for farmers to do.
They want to try new things, but the risk is great. When you're implementing something different into the farm, there's always a risk of losing money.
That's why researchers from Texas Tech and the AgriLife Extension are going to different areas in the High Plains. They're looking to address the different environmental parameters and make this process successful. Lewis says that could take years, but she says it's better for producers and the environment in the long run.
This project is an excellent example of industry and academia coming together because we have people from different sectors that really want the best for the region, the best for cotton production across the United States. And we all want what's best for the U.S. farmer.
The hope is these growers can work healthier fields, support their families, and grow the South Plains well into the future. Dylan Villa, KCBD News Channel 11.
Well, we are going to be looking at some changes coming up in the forecast with a cold front arriving in West Texas this weekend. More on that next.
Now, from the First Alert 7 Weather Center, here's Chief Meteorologist Tom Tiefertiller.
Well, let's take a look at the weather makers right now and show you what is going on as we're seeing a ridge of high pressure continue to control our weather. That's going to continue to be the case here over the next couple of days as temperatures usually this time of the year about 87 degrees as we start to settle into the fall season. Not the case today. We were up to 96 and it looks like more heat all the way through Saturday. We're going to have to wait on this system here, this upper level low spinning across portions of Southern California. Well, that's bringing this big trough in the jet stream, and that's going to move across and bring in some milder air, but also thunderstorm chances coming up later on Saturday into Sunday. Right now across the state of Texas, never really got anything going in the way of thunderstorms across West Texas. Most of it was down here across portions of deep South Texas. Still some thunderstorms rumbling around Zapata this afternoon, south of Laredo. But overall, though, pretty quiet conditions as temperatures again are on the hot side. We saw 96 for the afternoon high here, 99 in Austin, 97 in San Antonio. But really the hottest stuff in the state was right here in West Texas with triple digits in the Texas Panhandle, 102 in Presidio and 107 at Rio Grande Village. Now taking a look at the futurecast, we could see some clouds first thing in the morning with some humid conditions, but by tomorrow afternoon, I think we're going to be okay for area football games. Isolated shower, thunder shower, not out of the question. Western Jeff Davis County into Culberson County, maybe southeast New Mexico. Move the clock ahead towards Saturday. We're still going to have that flow of Gulf moisture moving across. So here come the thunderstorm chances with that front moving down. And here across southeast New Mexico into the upper Trans-Pecos, could be looking at maybe a strong to severe storm with strong damaging winds being the main threat there in those darker shaded areas coming up for Saturday afternoon into the evening. Pretty quiet overnight tonight, lower 70s on the way tomorrow, mid 90s. And again, the thunderstorm chances on the increase this weekend as we'll see some milder temperatures just in time for the start of the fall season.
In some state news, the El Paso District Attorney is reassuring the public that the city is still a safe place. Those comments come after state leaders in El Paso said El Paso was ground zero for the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. Tony Gutierrez has the details.
That needs to be clear. El Paso is not ground zero for TDA activity.
El Paso District Attorney Bill Hicks says Tren de Aragua is in El Paso, but the city is not infested with their gang members. ABC7 had previously reported the now closed Gateway Hotel was allegedly housing members from the Tren de Aragua. Hicks says that's not why the county sought to close the hotel.
There were another numerous violations that relate directly to the running and operation of the hotel.
DA Hicks says identifying Tren de Aragua members is difficult.
They don't follow a lot of the same patterns that we've seen in other gangs that we're more used to dealing with. They just have a very different mentality. They operate differently.
As we reported this week, Texas law enforcement officers will work to create a database to help identify the gang's members. Hicks says it is likely some took part in riots at the border this spring, where many migrants were detained.
It is also possible there were a great larger number of TDA gang members simply by who we're looking at. A large number of Venezuelan men in military age coming across at one time.
Hicks says 2 people charged in connection to the riots are confirmed Tren de Aragua members. He says his office will take all necessary measures to disrupt the Tren de Aragua.
We're coming after TDA. We're going to continue to protect our community the best we can and with all resources available.
All right, thanks for joining us. We've got more news coming up tonight on First Alert 7 News at 10.